All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 7th meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comment.
Oh, no.
An eye roll, come on.
Who are we missing?
John Denham.
Oh, John.
John,
Good evening.
John.
My name's Eileen Meany,
nice to meet you.
and I am your
to
town
town.
moderator. I just would like to remind the community that voting will take place tomorrow at Ware Middle School from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be there, be square. I look forward to seeing you, and that's it. I look forward to seeing you all as well. Have a nice night.
We'll see ya.
Before
Thank
you step down from the podium,
Yes, sir.
thank you for your 3 years of service as town moderator. You've done an excellent job.
Actually, it's more than that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
I can go back to Naomi. Any other public comment? Being now, we move on.
Has it been more than 3 years, Jack?
She did it 3 years steady.
3 years as elected and 1
No,
year
2
as...
years elected. 1 year as a fill-in, and then she did it fill-in for 2 years prior to that, so.
Something like 6 total.
Almost six, almost, yeah, it's about 6.
Thank you for all your years of service.
Here we go.
I think it's 5.
That covers it.
She's,
Yes,
I think she's a
exactly.
year short of me, so,
Well, there's no competition here, so.
no, it's no competition. No conflict.
All right.
Probably the right answer.
Take it the.
She's not here yet,
I
but you
think
can
so.
go on to the next one.
All right.
Who is this?
We'll juggle around a little bit, and we'll recognize Kevin Cahill for a wetland issue on a budding property.
Thank you. My name's Kevin Cahill, I'm a resident of Ware, live on Reservoir Drive. I'm here tonight seeking the body's intervention as an aggrieved citizen who was denied my rights under the state of New Hampshire and Ware law by a unilateral and arbitrary, capricious act of the chairman of to the town zoning board. By right granted to me and each of us under the laws of our state, as an abutting property owner, I attended last week's zoning board meeting to object to variance application case number 03-2022. Excuse me. Because of the documented adverse impacts the project has already had on my property, not hypothetical, not future, but currently occurring. Rather than being provided the opportunity to speak to my objection, the chairman of the zoning board dismissed my objection and refused to listen to my rebuttal of criteria 4 of the variance application, citing that it was irrelevant to the case. The chairman went further, refusing to support the basis of his plainly wrong statement. I did not just attend for the sole purpose of lodging an objection, but through a request to the board, offered the applicant the opportunity to produce a drainage plan that would mitigate the negative impact to my property. My request was ignored as beyond the scope of the meeting, despite this being the first hearing of the variance application. It was clearly apparent that the chairman came to the hearing with a decision made. No amount of testimony or new information was to change that decision. Indeed, the chairman used his position to assure there would be no such information or testimony offered that evening. This board exists solely to protect the health, safety of our citizens and ensure the fair and impartial application of our laws and completely manage the assets of the taxpayers. This egregious and unlawful conduct of the chairman and board is plainly evident in the public recording of this hearing. To ignore the wrongful acts and unwise decisions of the chairman and board would be a breach of this body's duty to all the citizens in town. The purpose of zoning laws, at its core, is to prevent new development from harming the residents and businesses by diminishing value. I appeal to the board tonight to repeal the granting of variance case 03-2022 made by the zoning board on March 1, 2022.
Okay. So I know that you forwarded us some pictures and.
And his letter.
And the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but much more than that, I'm unfamiliar with how everything proceeded.
Right, that was, and you have time to catch up, of course. I know this was a lot to present. What was forwarded to you, Naomi did attend that meeting naturally. Because I did not get to present that information at the meeting, I forwarded it to Naomi the following morning with a brief explanation and asked them to forward that to you. That was the documentation in part, along with my request, along with the recommendation from DES regarding this property. There's already been impact to wetlands that are marked wetlands through the clearing operation that flow directly on our property, that within feet affects the wetlands on our property. I mean, it's just common sense. So the reason for forwarding that documentation is just so you have that for your review. Basically, I'm making this part of the record, and I repeatedly asked the chairman for an explanation that wasn't given to me, and he suggested I come to you.
Okay.
The only, just one caveat to that, is, of course, they were granted that evening for a building permit. I would ask that at least while you get up to speed, and that is somehow or another at least,
Well, there's a 30-day period they have to wait.
okay, very good, yeah, because obviously that would complicate things for me dramatically.
Yes. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously now I as one member want to go back and view the, obviously the record and see exactly what the.
And YouTube is up if you want to
Correct,
watch
what the
it.
YouTube, the video looks like and
Sure, of course.
see everything that's transpired.
And conversed with Naomi, she attended, she actually tried to counsel the chairman at one point, because as she stated, I think verbatim, nobody understands in this room what is going on.
Right. What was that case number again?
Sure.
03-2022.
2022.
Very good.
It's the only one in March.
March.
There it is. Copy that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The only other suggestion I could say to the board is to go out and take a look at it, take a site walk at
Yeah,
some point.
we can take a site walk, yeah.
But there's complications. I know it has not, there was a question somebody brought up whether or not it was brought before the planning board. It has not, so.
Okay.
Well, would it have been, though? It shouldn't have,
Now, if
because
they have them build out there, it's, who knows if there would have been something else.
this is a subdivision, yes?
No, it's a private road, a class 6 road.
Yeah.
Private road,
Private road.
Okay.
but there are other houses out there, so,
This is on Reservoir.
yeah. Lakeview, it's
It's
out by
Lakeview.
Lakeview.
Colbin's
But
Cottage.
it backs up to their property on Reservoir.
They are direct abutters, yes.
They were. Right around a good share of it. They had two parcels.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what we do from here. It was granted. He did try to, the chairman knows about his request for the repeal. I just think Laura needs to look into it, because
Yeah.
I think
I think,
she needs to review as well to see if,
I briefly watched the YouTube video, and
I think they ought to hold in the bands, the permit, or the,
well.
until you get a decision from Laura, maybe
Well,
look
you
at
have,
it.
there's a 30-day period of which no permit could be issued anyway.
Yep.
And in that 30-day period, she may come up with something.
well, is this a Laura thing, or is this a Keach and Nordstrom question?
Well,
Well-
Laura's the attorney for
So
us.
I believe it's a Laura question,
Okay.
because as you
Land use.
proceed through your applications, there's 5 points of hardship you have to meet. One, specifically talks about the diminution of the surrounding properties, and that's the point he was trying to make. And he was told that it was a nice conversation, but we were only here because it's a private road. So we didn't get to show the pictures, he didn't get to do any of that.
I did,
And I
did
said-
watch the YouTube video, and I was disappointed in the way it was handled. It's very reminiscent of a similar case that has been seen by the zoning board that was handled in a very similar way, and I'm fearful that
It's a trend.
it's a trend, would be a safe way of putting it. I would like to have a meeting with the zoning board chair or the zoning board entire, because it's not just the chair, it's the whole board that
Board.
made that decision.
Right.
There was one board member that had asked a question, and the chair had silenced the question and never got back to him, which I think was slightly unfair, because could have been a very important question, but that gentleman just never spoke up again after that.
Okay.
I think I'd like to hear from the zoning board on this one,
Okay.
my opinion.
Sounds fair enough.
Yeah, I think if you all took your time to, honestly, now the snow has disappeared a little bit,
Yep. We'll go take it.
take a ride.
Yep.
It's 2 lots next to each other. You can pull it up on the
Okay.
the tax maps online. It's not very far in because the abutters were like 13 and 33, so they weren't that far in. But they were 2 lots side by side. But I think Laura needs to address it as
Absolutely.
well. She needs to look at the video because that was the only case for the night.
Okay.
And it's
What was that?
not that long of a,
What date was the?
March 1st.
Okay. All right, that brings us to the library discussion. Recognize Clay.
Are you gonna use that, Clay?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we pass this down, everyone, we get one of these and one of these.
Okay. So you take one and you pass it on.
Yes.
I'll count out just 5 so I don't complicate it.
What are you trying to say?
She's tired.
Hold this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Pull
be
straight,
careful.
pull straight down, pull down.
Straight down.
There we
you
go.
Oh, yeah,
We've
nice
got-
and easy.
What, we've got two sets?
You have 2 things.
Well, I thought we already.
No, they're shades.
Just the
It's all the
shades.
shades,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm giving you a couple,
Oh, looking
I'm
at
giving
it.
you some options here, so.
And now we've got a third in the mix?
Yeah, yeah, I did receive some additional estimates over the last few weeks. So, does anyone select the HDMI? You're supposed to hit that.
I think that's the remote, Naomi, I think.
All right.
I thought it just came up.
It's up to you.
I think you have to select it, don't you?
You have to select it on the projector.
I think you have to select on projector. You can see it moving around on the HDMI.
Yeah, no. You see me moving around too. I thought you could just, share with device using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, right?
Guess I sharpened the pencil a little bit.
Yeah, I think they might be able to see that.
That's why I said something. That's why I said something.
We can just
I prefer this style anyway.
It'll be okay.
Over this is good. It's maintained and clean. At least that can be wiped down.
I think it's the actual projector. I don't think it's the computer.
It was HDMI 1.
There's one.
I think it was in 1, yeah.
It was one.
Two. So let's say two.
We're not a technical group, are we?
Now you're on 3. HDMI 3.
We'll just
I
scroll.
would think it would be 1.
It is one. There it is.
Yeah,
Ta-da!
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm back again to talk about the blinds. And so here's a few examples of pictures that I took in the page room. And as you can see, these blinds are really old. They're coming apart.
How old are they? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Old.
They're
It's being held together by a paper clip up here. You can see. This is one of them. This is actually a different one, but you can see it has the same issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
This time on both sides. And this one, it's so bad, it doesn't even have we don't even have a blinds. We're missing.
Look at all
So-
the natural light you get in there.
There it is.
I know,
Like I
it's
say, all that,
great,
all that
yeah.
UV.
So we're missing blinds for that window right there. All right. And so that's just to give you an idea of what we have currently at the library. I gave you 2 packets. The first one is for the honeycomb cellular blinds, and the second one is for your typical roller shades. I prefer the more the honeycomb design. And this is a quote right here that I got from the U.S. Department of Energy. It says cellular shades are made of 2 sheets of fabric that are folded along pleats that are placed horizontally. They typically they typically are considered to have the highest R values of all window coverings. Air pockets in the honeycomb cross-section act as insulators, increasing the R value and reducing the conduction of heat through the window. In heating seasons, tightly installed cellular shades can reduce heat loss through windows by 40% or more, which equates to about 10% of heating energy savings. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that would work for us because I'm talking about just the page room of the library, but I kind of assume that's where most of our heat's escaping because it is an old building and is not insulated. So we do need all the help we can get with energy efficiency in that room. So our budget for this year for fuel is $4,000, and we've spent over 1,000 of that already. So, so again, we do need all the help we can get. And cooling season, cellular shades can reduce unwanted solar heat through windows by up to 60%, reducing the total solar gain up to 20% when installed with a tight fit. And that's why I wanted to have it professionally installed, because I wanted to make sure that we get as tight and proper fit as possible, just to reduce any issues that we might have. I don't want it, falling on anybody, anything like that. I want to make sure that they're properly installed and working. So from the 3 estimates I got, I did get an additional estimate for this style of shades, and that's from the J&R Langley Company, but it was more expensive than the other 2 that I got. So budget blinds would be the most affordable of those, and I broke it down to what budget blinds is charging be $300 a unit, plus $42 for ship and install per unit. So that for a window, that'd be $342 per window. And the warranties are also in here for budget blinds, and then the 3A blinds, I have a copy of the warranty on the first packet. And on the second one, it's for the roller shades, and I broke that down as well. So any questions?
No, I don't have any. Anybody else have any? Of the information given?
Looks like the budget ones have a 5-year, no question asked warranty.
Right.
Yep, saw that. I mean, that's what we were looking for when he came the last time, was whatever the warranty is on these. So I think, that question got answered.
And then if you have I also have the measurements for the size of the window too, which is a width of 3 feet 7 inches, and then the height of 6 feet 10 inches as well. So.
37.
And also there are fire resistant light filtering and noise insulating, I think, is important too. So they help with that. Especially with, like I mentioned last time, how busy this street and noisy this street is.
The board have any comments?
Well, I have one thing, is that if you go with a honeycomb and you're actually going to get a 40% saving, that's about $1,600 a year, right? 40% off his $4,000 budget.
They'd have to be closed all the time.
Yeah. So you have to figure
But
out.
during the winter months.
You won't be able to know what probably the savings is until actually they're in there for a while and watching it.
Right, couple of years.
So you
Yeah,
can get.
Prices stabilize
Or,
for a minute.
That's nice to put that figure in there, but you're not gonna see that because.
Well, if you
they're
get a
not
building
closed
that's
all the
completely uninsulated, it's not gonna make a damn bit of difference anyway.
Well, it's a brick building, so it does have some factor, but not enough
Not
that if it
enough.
was an insulated one. Putting new windows in and those shades will help cut some of the costs.
So not having a lot of experience with cellular style shades, how do you clean these?
You could just get an extension on your vacuum cleaner, like one of those longer poles, and just.
Vacuum them off.
Yeah, vacuum
Okay.
with a brush head.
I like the idea that they're not only the light filtering.
If you buy
noise-
tan, you're all
And they're
set.
also somewhat fire retardant, so,
Tan ones don't happen to show the dust as much.
yep.
And then if
We can
you,
go black and go complete light filtering too.
Complete.
Just kidding.
and then if there's a bug gets inside of it, you can
Vacuum it out.
stick it into whatever cell it's into and suck the bug
Yeah.
out. Or blow it out with compressed air or something.
All right. Is there a consensus on what the board wants to do?
I'm leaning towards the cellular ones from, obviously the cheaper one would be budget.
So we're not gonna talk about the roller shade version instead?
I don't think it'd be worth it. The roller shade ones really, I mean, I've had a lot of experience with those in houses I've owned and own, and just around the house, they don't stand up real well.
Yeah, mine, I
So-
had some, and they fell apart.
Well, the other thing is
They either don't roll up all the time, the springs let go in them,
Well, I think we at least owe it to talk about it, and that's fine.
think-
We've addressed both options.
yeah,
so.
I think something like this would probably be a little better.
well, I think for the money difference too, and what we're gonna see on the other end,
Yeah.
Eventually we
Potentially,
get a
yeah.
shaving.
you're talking, what, $80 a window?
Yeah,
I think at the other end, and with a 5-year warranty, I think you're probably better
potential.
suited, you're probably better suited to get the
like I said, it's gonna cut down noise.
the honeycombs.
Better.
Yeah.
The insulating factor is the big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
any and all
That's where
helps.
you lose most of your heat is right out, and your heating and your cooling is right out through your windows.
And those are original glass, they're not thermal pane or anything like that, right?
I think they're the other original.
Single pane?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They-
the
Sure, might more know-
so the heat's
know
flying
more
right
about
out
that
there.
Yeah, so the new windows will
Insulated
be
is
in
only three,
yeah, we just
not
approved.
three. It's
Yeah,
like having a window, it's like having a hole in the
We
wall.
just approved it for the new windows, so when those get in and with that and this, it should help quite
A little bit.
drastically.
yeah, hopefully. All right, got a motion?
I'll make a motion, yeah. We accept the bid for budget blinds, for the cellular blinds, for the page room at the library for a cost of $3,076.
I'll second it.
Where is it coming from?
That'll come out of the government buildings fund.
Okay. Moved and seconded, all those in favor, or actually, discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
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 All those opposed?
Opposed?
Abstentions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Clay.
Just before I go, I think last time I watched the video, like I took off, and right after that, I think you were talking about the.
We talked about the
what
well.
went on with the well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I didn't know if you had any questions of me about what.
You can give him an update though, Clay. 'cause
Yeah,
you
we'll
took-
take- we'll
you
take
took
an
care of
update.
it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's not really. Oh, it works right. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but-
water's back to normal.
I mean,
but-
I think they, you came over here and then Beth and you went over and the town hall was out of water as well.
Yeah, right.
So you found it was a pump? Is that what
Pump
you
was
did?
bad again?
Right. Okay. So what I was told happened because when I called Contuca, because that's we had our warranty through because they installed the pump, and when he got out here, he tried to bring it up with his pulley.
Yep.
But he couldn't do it. He said it was too heavy, and so he had to bring the truck
Yeah.
onto the property, which was at least $1,000 extra to do that. And he said that when they installed it, that they used a pipe that was much too thick. Like, they used pipe was too big. And because of that, the weight of the pipe pulled the pump apart. Over time, it pulled it apart. So they had to replace the piping as well with a smaller pipe.
I hope they didn't
Ouch.
charge us for that, for their,
I think they did. But the bill was not broken down, though. They didn't break down the bill, though. It just flat 2,000. They didn't have it itemized.
Can we,
And that included the truck too, right?
Yes.
I can
that
see
included
the
as
truck.
well.
And
The
that
excavator.
included a new pump?
Yes, well, the pump was covered with warranty.
Yeah.
So, yeah. they-
So, but I'm saying,
Yeah, but if they
I-
admitted that they installed the wrong
Yeah,
pipe, then
can
we
we-
shouldn't have to pay for the
can
truck.
we inquire for a breakdown on the
we
bill?
could pay for the
Yeah.
truck, but I wouldn't be paying for the pump.
I wouldn't pay
or
for the
pipe.
truck either.
Or the pipe?
Because if it's too heavy to pull up with the pulley, because he.
If it's an installation issue, it should be eaten by them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wrong pipe
It was
used.
Kentucky, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Kentucky.
Kentucky or
Yeah.
teaching well, yeah.
And find out exactly what went down. I mean,
Before
not
we
doubting,
pay
I
it.
just want, I want an itemized bill
Knows if
of,
we
you know,
pay
rather
it.
than
I
just
probably
agree,
already
I
paid
agree,
it.
That's,
so.
have we paid, is that on the
I think
manifest?
I think it's already been paid.
Yeah,
Think.
it's already paid.
Yep, I think I paid.
But
a
again,
couple
I
of-
think we owe it to this board to at
Yep.
least find out what went down, why it went down,
Yeah.
and,
I
yeah, we got,
understand it had to get fixed and whatever it is. but
Right,
we
exactly.
should-
Because both buildings were out of water.
but if it was an installation error, then,
Yeah, we shouldn't be having to pay for it.
right. So,
Or at least not the full.
not the full amount, we should get a kickback.
Yeah, I can
So.
see if we had to pay for the truck, because they can't do it with the one man in the truck. I see
Right,
that, I
that I
understand
can see, but
But they pay for
the pipe and everything else, yeah, no.
another $1,000 for whatever else
Yeah.
essentials
Yeah.
now. That's they should have realized when they reinstalled it the last time.
And can we also pull the bill from when we put it in, 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it
It
is?
wasn't even that long ago.
No, a copy of
I
it.
want to say it's like 2.
Really?
Just
No, I
before,
think it was more than
the
that.
Oh,
year
it's more
before
than
COVID.
I think it
It's like
was,
2019.
that sounds right. Oh, it's almost 4 years ago.
I guess so. Not quite. 2019, yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody. Any other questions before I take off?
No,
I think we're good. All right, move to manifest. Going to order the treasurer to sign payroll and accounts payables checks dated March 10th, 2022, is included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest, $77,291.84 for weekly payroll. Accounts payable, $160,962.51. John Stark, $250,000. Ware School District, $300,000, for a total of $788,254.35. Following manifests are previously ordered to be signed at the February 23rd meeting of the Board of Selectmen with payroll manifest of $71,470.87 for weekly and fire monthly payroll checks excluding the library dated 3 of 3, and supplemental accounts payable of $4,591.31 for library payroll checks dated 3/3, and accounts payable of $65,614.15, checks dated 3/3. As there's no selectmen meeting scheduled for Monday, March 14th, 2022, further order treasurer to sign payroll checks dated March 17th, 2022, is estimated to be about $75,000. Further order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $90,000 for accounts payable that cannot wait until next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual check amounts be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Brings us to the minutes of 2/23. That means I gotta go find them? Oh, boy.
Go to the website, it's faster.
That's where I'm headed. Simmer down.
Okay.
Well, if I was in the right place, that would help too. Page 1.
I got one thing.
Mhm.
Where it says I moved and Selectman Van seconded to rescind his mask mandate. I should think it should be the mask
Yep.
mandate.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Page 2. Page 3. 4. Move to approve the February 23rd meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Move and second, all in favor?
Yes.
Administrator's report.
I gave a real quick one, just because
Tomorrow.
we've had a lot going on, and we had a lot going on tomorrow, so, the one thing I would like to ask you is the, rabies clinic.
Well, yeah.
Maureen approached me in regards to, she saw that we were allowing the 250th to have their play in the town hall, and that we were going to be lifting restrictions. We have not done a rabies clinic for the community since the pandemic, which has been 19, 20, and 21. So it's been 3 years, and she asked if they could schedule April 13th for a rabies clinic for the community, which would be after the,
9th.
they're done. It would actually be the Wednesday the following week. So there's time to be cleaned. And then Wednesday the following week of April would be when she's asking to use for the rabies clinic.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think it's a good idea.
The only question is to make sure that it gets clean, because there's been numerous times they've had the rabies clinic up there with dogs running in and out or other animals, and the place is trashed.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's exactly fair to put it all on the one cleaning person either for that, you know, it's.
Well, I haven't attended in a long time, but typically, you know, there's gonna be accidents, and
Yep.
typically the owner picks them up, but
That doesn't always happen.
which would, well,
Well, there wasn't anything. I was up there several years and helped.
Once I found a bag tossed in the corner with the dog doing it, so.
I don't know. I was there
And
several
thrown on the
years, no
ground
problem.
outside, so.
The other thing is, though, is I think that in that 3-year time, we have changed the terms
Yeah,
of usage.
so I just want to make sure.
So
that's-
whoever uses it, whoever signs the line, will be on the hook if we
That's
have to.
okay.
It's actually a
So,
good question. Who actually signs it?
I was gonna say, who signs it?
who is gonna sign it?
Right.
yeah,
It's done by the
if
clerk.
Maureen,
it's done by her,
Then
then
it-
she's
then it's on the
hook.
clerk's
It's out
office.
of her,
it's on the town.
out of her
So you
dime.
want a facility use filled out and signed?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep, that's,
We'll forego the deposit.
Yeah, we'll be nice about that, but I definitely want it on paper that it was used. And,
that's right. And if
Whether,
there's-
whether it's Maureen or another clerk.
yeah, either or.
And if this has to be cleaned, then
Okay.
it comes out of the budget.
Okay. So no terms. Okay. Then the last one, the town hall renovations, it's not just a bathroom.
I didn't figure it would be.
The floor's pretty spongy.
In the bathroom area?
So it's gonna take someone to put a floor in the men's room.
Yep.
Along with a
I
toilet.
guess that's, board that off.
So with that being said, I think John and I talked this afternoon about it. We probably should reach out to Tom to let them know the bathrooms will be out.
Off limits.
Off limits.
And I think he mentioned and offered the porta potties
I
anyway.
think he's gonna have a porta
Yeah.
potty outside.
So we'll just
Yeah,
put
they
a
have to
close
get a-
on the door.
Lock it if possible.
Lock it up.
You know, I just,
Put a banner, tape across it, just do not use.
Yeah.
yeah,
Out of
where's
order
where's the
to
yellow
use.
tape?
Yep.
I have caution tape.
So now with that,
It's gonna take more than a plumber.
right. But how we?
Combination.
But who
Well,
do
that's
we?
what I was gonna say. Do you get a plumber and a carpenter? Do you get someone that's kind of a handyman that can do it?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Because I think,
Well, if they just gotta reset that
No, I gotta do
wax
the
seal.
floor.
I mean, they
floor's
gotta
rotted.
fix the floor, but if they have to reset
I
the,
think it's gonna be two different contractors.
You'll be ripping the floor up in there, and
Yeah, but one contractor should be able to
then
fit
you,
it.
who knows when you get under it what
I
it's
was gonna
like.
do the
Sub,
thing.
sub out,
sub out
yeah,
the
yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree.
But who knows what it's
Yeah,
gonna be like when you rip the floor up of any of the floor joists or anything else like that.
I don't know.
I doubt it. I mean, that was done in 2008.
What?
I think it wasn't in 2008 they did all the new floors
Well,
in
the
there
day,
underneath.
yeah, but I'm saying if it's,
I don't know.
if there's floor
Time
joists that
gets
are
away from me
rotted
too
because of
fast.
being wet or anything
Right.
else.
Yeah, we don't know what we're diving into.
We don't know.
Yeah, it's an unknown.
So is your suggestion
Get a
that you hire a
contractor.
contractor that then can hire a plumber?
Yep.
yeah,
Is that what you're thinking?
I think so.
Okay. With that being said, are you looking at a new toilet or putting back the old one with just a wax ring?
What's the toilet
Let's see
look
what the
like?
plumber says. Maybe the toilet's defective, maybe it's just a bad ring, or maybe it was a loose feed line.
It's one of the old ones that's this tall. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you'd probably have to put a new, you'd probably, if you don't use the old one, you have to put a new what? Low
Yeah.
flow,
Handicapped?
Yep.
Maybe make
Well,
sure
if
it's
it's a high one,
handicap.
that's why it may be
Put a new
handicap.
updated.
Yeah, I'd probably go with it, just to go with the new one. I mean,
That's what I was
the hell,
thinking.
yeah.
Yep. Make sure it's a high
Yeah.
off the floor.
So look for a contractor that would.
Yep.
Okay.
Problem is, we're not gonna be able to get 3 quotes like we normally do, because you need somebody to tear it apart first, to figure out if, are we talking?
Well, I think what you do is.
Something accurate, yes.
Well, you give him an estimate of how much roughly, give or take, you know, if he needs more, then they come back and see it, so I think that's,
I'm just thinking, I mean, if it's just a subfloor, then that's fine, but as you said, if it gets into the floor joists, then we're talking a whole different ballgame.
you know, you can, if they're not bad,
You
you
can
can
double 'em
always,
up,
you can
but-
sandwich them,
Yeah, but
laminate
maybe.
them,
I
so.
can't believe when they redid that floor, I think it was 2008 or so, maybe it was before that, that they would have used pressure treated.
But they did
No, they don't.
do under the bathrooms or just from the bathrooms out?
I'm not sure if it
Bathroom
was.
has always looked like heck.
I don't know if
Just
that.
from the bathrooms out.
It was from
The
the
main
walls.
floor
Underneath the bathroom wasn't
wasn't
changed.
touched. I don't
think it
remember.
was.
I don't
Yeah.
believe it was.
You
They
don't?
they don't put pressure treated usually on the subflooring in the bathroom. If they put anything, they'll put, you know, cement board or something.
Yeah,
on it.
something.
Yeah, I didn't mean the subfloor, I meant the rafters and stuff, but I don't know.
Floor joists?
No,
Yeah, they
it's
re-
not,
we
that old
replaced
building,
all
they're
them.
not,
Well, they took
So
all
it'd be
that
the
stuff
subfloor
out,
then?
so I don't know.
But we only did
John
from
said
the
he didn't think they
bathroom,
touched
the
the
main.
bathroom.
Doesn't matter if they did it 15 years ago, if the toilet's leaking, it's gonna destroy even after a year or 5
Yeah,
months.
it's all junk. So
I've
It's all
had,
junk.
I've already had that happen, so I know, it's, you
Yep.
know, maybe 2, 3 years.
So
and the
those,
next thing
that's
it's
really
running.
all I had to, to offer you for now. Tomorrow, we've
Okay.
got a lot on our plate. Tomorrow, this, just leading up to this point. I think everything else, we're still waiting. It's gonna be mud season right now I'm gonna try to get back to the asbestos after tomorrow. I think, as I said to Ricky, tomorrow, we'll know where we are. That basically, I think
Yeah.
the whole
Yep.
unknown is really got everybody kind of juggling, so.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to
the
whichever
same.
way it works.
Yeah.
the
We at
same
least
it is
know what
every
we're
year.
up to, so,
Have a game plan.
we will. Correspondence and other business, when you get to that, actually, I'm gonna add this to mine. We received Karen's resignation, so, Karen had, tendered her resignation, and she will be leaving on Wednesday. I just want to, I guess, I want to thank her for all she's done for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's done a
Yeah,
fabulous
she's
job.
done a great job, so I just
We wish her the best.
wanted it noted, because Wednesday is her last day, so I didn't want it to go unnoticed.
Absolutely.
And I certainly appreciate everything she's done, so, she'll be missed,
Absolutely.
Yeah, she will be.
so. I just
Especially
wanna-
when it comes to doing the minutes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I don't know if you have much under correspondence.
I don't know, just
couple
the
things.
letter we probably received, it should be, where is that? Not, the one we got in hand about tomorrow.
Oh, that's already been really just, Laura said just proceed as usual, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
All right.
I just would like to,
All right, so we're gonna move to correspondence of the business.
Yep.
I can wait and
Officially.
go after you guys.
Oh,
I
go
got a
ahead.
couple of things.
Okay.
The sexton of the cemeteries, we only got probably 4 to 6 weeks before I would expect we're gonna start burying people. So I just didn't wanna
Forget about
lose
that.
that down through the cracks. We've gotta do it sooner than
Appoints
later.
the- who
Well,
appoints the
do
sexton?
we,
All the trustees that you don't have at the moment.
So
Right, so
after
that goes
tomorrow,
back to us.
after the
I know,
vote,
but
vote tomorrow
do
comes
we
back
know
to
how
you.
many people are scheduled? Do we know how many people are scheduled?
I have no idea.
I'm glad you brought that up. It may be something to look at. There is, online, I've subscribed to PWNet, and it had a thing in there from one of the towns, is they're looking to upgrade their computer program for cemeteries.
I saw that too.
And so how many they have pending, what the cemetery layout. So that may be something
We should
that
look
we
at.
as a town should look into, because right now, it seems like it's a mishmash. Somebody's got the books here, someone's got papers there.
Yeah.
This way, it's all located in the town.
But I'd like to know how they locate.
Well, I'm not sure. So, I mean, that's something probably to investigate, and I
Yeah.
think, I kept thinking, there's gotta be a better way to do
It
this
wouldn't
when
be-
it's
it wouldn't
hit.
be- yeah, it wouldn't
And there
be-
is, there's towns and cities that do have,
That's the Veterans Cemetery, how they do it. They have an awesome system.
yeah.
But they're
But
probably
they have-
federally.
But they have
Doesn't matter.
federal, and they have full-time people there all the time, pretty much,
But
so.
we can get some ideas as to what software
But there
they
are other
use.
towns that have software just for set up for municipalities.
sure.
And I think
I'm sure.
Londonderry was one of them.
Like I say, the bigger ones probably do. Manchester, Londonderry.
Uh-oh.
I forget which small town was just looking for it. It wasn't a town much bigger than ours.
Okay.
They wanted to upgrade theirs and wanted to know who, so
Yeah, I don't know,
I can't remember.
Did
who
we
it
get
was.
all the stuff back from Connie? The books and stuff?
Judy's working on trying to see what the maps look like.
Oh,
I haven't gotten anything since we were supposed to meet again. But
Okay, that was option one. Option
Option
two.
one. Option two, Naomi just brought up Karen's resignation. I'd like to see us put an advertisement out for her replacement and also the tax collector as soon as possible. I don't think it's fair for us to anticipate the rest of the employees to take those jobs over.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. I think the other thing you ought to look at too is probably minute taker now. Karen did all the minutes for most of the
Right.
committees and boards.
Right,
so-
well, we'll maybe able to combine or split. Well, I say split the two between the two new positions that we're looking for.
yeah.
I would rather see it go with personally, if you're gonna do it, see it go with just one person to take care of all of them and pay them, and that's all they're concerned of. That's all they can, that way they're not interfering with their other stuff. It doesn't get overwhelming.
Yeah,
Karen was
duties.
excellent, but, I think.
you have welfare involved too, you have
Yeah.
welfare wrapped into that.
You had welfare all wrapped into this, so I mean, so you're gonna have to look for probably somebody to do welfare.
Yeah.
And welfare, and this is just a suggestion, and I've seen it go, because welfare is relatively, I'm not gonna say easy, but it can be. It's somebody to pick up the applications, and you just pay somebody part-time, you pay them so much a year to be the part-time welfare officer, and they come in once a week or every few days and you could do it at night. They
Yeah.
don't have to come in be here all the time.
No.
But hand the applications out, get the applications, review them, see if they meet it, contact them, and
Right.
take care of it.
The whole minute taker.
So that
thing.
might be another option instead of trying to put it into somebody full-time.
The minute taker thing, every committee or does every department have a budget for minute taker?
I believe we left it, and then when we paid Karen, we just paid from,
Paid out.
Paid her extra.
How much do we have, do we know off annual?
not off the top of my head, and it's gonna depend on what tomorrow brings.
So,
Right.
Because it's in proposed, not
so,
default.
so say default budget. I'm wondering, there are companies out there that do transcribing. Do any of them do minute transcribing? Maybe we can
They'll
just
transcribe
hire
whatever
it
you
out
want, I
instead of hiring a body, what if we just sub it out to a company?
I mean, you could find somebody that may work in a couple of different towns that'll come in and do it. We had somebody a few years ago that worked here and did the ones in Hennecker.
Yep.
I mean, it,
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
I think there's options, but you also don't know what you got for money.
You're
Right,
right.
we
Yeah, I
need,
think
we need
we
to wait
gotta
till
wait.
tomorrow, maybe
Once
we
we
make
know
a
what that
decision.
I just wanna,
Get the ball rolling.
yeah, get the ball rolling.
Yep.
yep.
But I think looking as an option is outside as just a separate company altogether.
Plus,
Yeah,
whoever
that's
we
fine.
do as a health officer, which is something that we haven't had for a while since what, Chip left, one that was
Or
active.
Kelly-
And
Kelly
Kelly,
was
but
left, yeah.
Chip was more active at it. There's new state statutes now for covering it. If we don't have somebody, they're gonna take other control and mandate to us what we gotta do, so I
The
think,
state takes over.
yeah, they won't take over, but they'll be
Dictate.
mandating.
Dictate.
So I think if we get somebody in place, at least it might soften that.
You gotta
blow a
look
little
at the
bit.
whole package again, because you robbed this one to pay that
Yeah.
one, to do that, to do
Yeah,
Right.
this.
to
So,
have one person do
think,
6 hats
again-
is,
It's too
Again,
much.
you have to, yes, it's a lot, but we have to see what tomorrow brings.
yeah, do it
Right,
tomorrow.
absolutely.
And then we gotta shake the numbers out and see where we are.
So maybe not address it at the next meeting, but the meeting after, if we can have the
like that,
numbers
I
all rolled through and then,
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see where, hopefully I'm hopeful a budget will pass, things can line back up accordingly, which would be nice.
Yep.
And then we're not looking at all sorts of different avenues with a little here and a little there and a little there.
so yeah, if we could do something, not next meeting, but so give you
First part of
4
April.
weeks.
Yeah. I just think there's a lot of, and you might be able to combine, I think Jack mentioned it, with another town.
Yep.
Yeah.
welfare, do it by the application.
I
Right.
mean, it's one thing, you can get the applications and just have somebody say,
Based
okay,
on-
you want to work part-time,
Admin it, yeah.
Almost like you do with the food pantry with Melissa, you mind, calling these people and setting it up to do
Yeah.
the welfare part. We'll get the applications, can you do the research? That's the hardest part. That's
Oh,
the part
absolutely.
that's the
Yeah, doing
hardest
the
part.
homework, yeah.
Well, I mean, checking to make sure their stuff is, this
And you
computer.
also may have an avenue with your health officer, with the
Yep.
schools.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
There's a lot of,
a lot of stuff.
that we need to put together, but until you know what you're doing tomorrow,
Right,
till Wednesday, you won't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
right.
and even then, you may not be sure.
True. All right. Any-
Just couple.
What? Hurry up.
I said I had a few.
okay, I got a couple too, so
Said you
go
had a
ahead.
couple, not few.
I got one.
And this is probably something
one
we
page.
need to worry about somewhere down the road with the way the fuel prices are going. I wonder how that's gonna affect our budgeting.
Well, again, and this is why I was a little hesitant when we decided earlier, but, yes, you're right. No, 100%. It's gonna have to dictate a lot of what we do.
We're gonna have to watch that out down the
Because I
road.
think we're already over our numbers.
Yeah,
If not, we're approaching.
We budgeted, what, 375 each?
350, I think.
3.25.
Yeah.
3.25.
I don't know what it is for government pricing, so I haven't looked at that,
Yeah.
No,
but
it's four something at the pump.
it's at the pump, but that's,
Yeah.
you're
But
counting,
that's what the, with
you're
the
talking
state
at
tax and-
23, almost 24 cents a gallon for state tax, and the federal taxes, I'm not sure, is higher than that.
Regardless, we're approaching or have passed what we had set aside.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
We're
yeah,
close, anyway, we're somewhere in
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah, we're on the wrong side of it, that's for sure.
It is.
I mean, you're
You
gonna
know,
take
well,
it 350, 25, 20,
Yeah, I
24
mean,
cents for state
Irvin went up
tax.
10 cents today.
Who did?
Irvin.
Yeah, 24 cents for
It is
tax,
what it
which
is.
we don't pay, and you
Right.
take, what, another 20-something
Oh, it's
cents.
42 cents.
42 cents for federal tax, you take that out of there, so, I mean, we're below,
Oh, yeah.
so we're still below what we budgeted.
we're right
but
there.
It
We're
could go
close.
either way.
Yeah,
We're
we're getting
tickling.
close.
The way things are going, it ain't gonna take long.
It ain't gonna take long.
Now when it's rising
Definitely.
10 cents a day
Yeah.
Right,
or more,
right. 49 cents a week, I mean, you can't really compete with that.
or
So-
a day at a town, at a gas station
What
in
did
town.
they did
Correct.
today, well, in fact, while they were showing it on the news tonight, it actually showed the person while they're broadcasting
Portsmouth.
at $3.99, they went up and put it up to
Oh,
Yeah.
9, I think.
409.
Yeah.
I mean, it went 10 cents right there while they're doing
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock, so.
So, all right, that's all you have?
The only other thing I got is somewhat personal, is I appreciate working with you, Jack, for the last 5 years. It's been a pleasure.
Six.
Thank you, likewise.
Thank you for doing it.
I had a couple things whenever whoever's done.
Did we want to discuss the email from police chief?
Oh.
That's part of mine, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine, you guys can discuss it.
Right,
later.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we'll discuss it when she comes
Yeah,
up.
you got something?
Sherry, anything?
I do.
Yes.
Do you want me to move forward on the bond down there? Because if you do, I have to put that on the state
On
register.
the state register list.
Yeah, I don't see why we can't move
I
forward.
don't see why we can't put it on the list.
And
Yeah,
then, as soon as that's done, I've got to write the grant, because we're going to get into a time crunch here now, because I think everything has to be done in the next 8 weeks, and a letter of intent has to be sent too, so.
I'm fine with that.
What
Like
is
I
I
said,
watching? It has to be in by May 1st, or has to be done by May 1st, something like that.
I say go forward.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
Does it need a motion?
It probably wouldn't hurt because it's a town building being put on the list.
All right. What's the verbiage of the motion?
I would
gonna be?
say, move to put the Gordon Brown building,
Well,
Just the old bond, just
yeah,
the old
have
section.
Sherry go do the paperwork to put it on the.
State
I'd say.
register and then do
but I
the
think
grant.
we as the
register.
town need to move
Yeah, I make the motion that way, because who knows if they'll approve it.
to put, well, to apply for.
Apply for it, yeah.
To put the Gordon Brown building
Hopefully they
on
will.
the historic list
I
at the
second,
state.
I second your motion.
There you go.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, what else, Jack?
I like how you did that. That was smooth.
I
That was real
got,
smooth.
I got a couple things. The first one is
Nope, sorry.
a flyer that everybody got in the mail, and I just want to say that this is another one of those deals. It's a misnomer, because there's nothing in there about, they don't mention the fact that, went without filling positions, we're going to fill positions, and we've filled them already, some of them. To say it's going to be a $66 increase because of the new budget, I mean, they're not telling you what and that's the thing that frosts me, is I've been here 6 years, and I've enjoyed it. At times I haven't, but 90% of the time, 95% of the time I have. And all I hear is about my tax dollar this, my tax dollar. Well, you want the services, you gotta pay for it. And that's the thing. And there's increases every day. We all have to pay for it. And I think that to put this out as ingenuous, that they turn around and say it's gonna cost us this, but they're not talking on the town side, that we have revenues that come in to offset a lot of it. And we never hear about that. And I think the biggest thing is, I'd like to make sure that this passes, and Benji gets the truck, we've got great employees, and these guys need this equipment. You don't go to work without tools. John doesn't go to work. I don't go to work without having tools. If you don't get the tools, you can't do the job. So if you can't get the vehicles to plow the snow or do the maintenance, we're gonna have, you're gonna have a snowstorm, and you're gonna be sitting there up to your eyeballs, and you're gonna wonder why, and it's because our raging fleet, and we've got to make sure that this. I think that this is an important thing, and these flyers that come out like this one really frosted me. They can't even put their name or anything, just as a PO box and where.
Yep.
And to me, that's just plain wrong. The other thing I have is I want to again thank. I want to thank my wife and family for putting up with me and giving me the support with this for the 6 years.
So what about now?
Thank you,
What about
Eileen.
from here on out?
She'll probably wish that I was still here, so
Right,
I'm not
exactly,
home.
yeah.
But no, I gotta thank them from the bottom of my heart for all the support and backing and putting up with some of the stuff, and being on vacation and having to make phone calls to selectmen's meetings when I'm 1,000 miles away or whatever. And cruising, I think we were cruising around the streets of New Bern, North Carolina, and one of them looking for a restaurant when I called in one night. But it's been enjoyable. It's been great time working with this board and some of the members that were here before, and I will miss it. I will miss working with you guys, and I want to thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jack. It's been an honor working with you, honestly. From your position as vice chair, chairman, and all the points that you've made and knowledge you brought to the table. It definitely has been, it's been a rocky road, but I think we're on a smooth path.
it's
We're on a smooth path now.
It's politics. It's always a rocky
That's
road.
right, exactly.
And I
You kind
wanna-
of expect that.
And I forgot, I want to make sure I thank the people who voted for me and supported me to be in this position on both terms. And they're the ones that, they're the most important people. They're our bosses. So,
Absolutely. We work for them.
and as long as we did a good job for them, that's the thing that counts. No agendas, do it just for what they want. And
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
So I did forward you an email, and I should say I included you on an email to Chief Moore regarding the electioneering RSA. We've been back and forth on the email. As you saw, I originally sent to him because he wanted to put the same display up outside and talk to people that he did at deliberative session. And I guess electioneering is always looked at. So I sent him indicating that pursuant to the RSA, I felt it was not allowed. Because if you look at the RSA talks about no public employee shall electioneer while in the performance of his or her official duty. No public employee shall use government property or equipment, including but not limited to telephones, fax, vehicles, computers for electioneering. For the purpose of this section, electioneer means to act in any way specifically designed to influence the vote of a voter on any question or office, and then it can be charged as a misdemeanor. So if you've been part of my back and forth, I understand that he wants to stand and answer questions, particularly of this latest and greatest black and gold cautionary sign.
looks like a highway
Or-
sign.
The highway sign, to let everybody know what's going on. I asked him, I said, I posted very briefly to the point on our Facebook page today. I said you could put it out there, and to me, I think it's, if somebody wants to come up and talk to you about the budget and the cars, I think it's a little late before you're 3 steps from the door.
Right.
So he was gonna have Brandon call the AG's office. I think the AG's office is over and dated, especially with this notice of trespass and infringement on constitutional rights that all the towns got delivered today. So I don't know how you feel about it. I was hoping that Laura would check in, but she hasn't. I think ultimately you have the responsibility. I told him that I felt it was wrong, but again, I'm really not his boss, I guess. So if you want to override me, then feel free. I just don't, to me, it doesn't pass the smell test. Somebody can come up and ask you a question about what you did, but it's the insinuation, they don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I realize we're all here to be transparent, but at the same time, I don't want to upset a group of voters when things, I feel, have been going well.
So the way I interpret Section 1, no public employee as defined by RSA whatever, shall electioneer while in the performance of his or her official duties. The way I read that, while in performance of his or her official duties, means you're on the clock in uniform. If you're doing that off the clock in civilian clothes,
I think
That's-
you're walking a fine line, because
Yeah.
if he's out there with a board doing it for the police
wouldn't be the chief.
department,
It wouldn't be the chief because
and
one,
they
he's
won't,
salaried,
and they won't do
state.
it, they won't do it without being on the collective bargaining, so. I think the best thing is defer to the moderator who's sitting in the back, who actually has the final say in a lot of the elections.
I was just gonna say, the moderator sitting in the back
Hate to
and
do it to you.
Hate to do it to you. One of your last official acts for the evening. But my person it's electioneering, and to me,
I think so.
and if you start it with one, you're gonna have,
Yeah.
you're gonna open up the floodgates too. I think that's wrong.
I understand that there's a lot of passion about, people have put, a tremendous amount of work, from the police chief, the DPW director, the fire chief, the finance committee, this board, hours and hours and hours of providing the community with facts. And I just want to say something, we're obligated as elected officials, and we're obligated as town employees, we're obligated as the official source to tell the truth. And so the truth has been told. And any taxpayer resident wants to understand what the information behind any of the warrants are. There's hours of YouTube video. There is minutes. There are many, many places where they can go to verify the information. So I encourage anyone who's watching this, if you have any questions about anything that has happened this year, this season, you can find it. The thing I want to say about other groups, putting together flyers in the 11th hour and sending them out, groupthinks are not required to tell the other side of the story. You're talking about a coalition of people who piled their money together to sway judgment, and they're not held to any standard.
right.
We're held to a standard. And so because of that, I believe our taxpayers are smart people. I believe that our residents will do the research because this is their money that they're spending. I think there's been enough interplay out in social media and all the medias that will speak to the truth. The truth is out there, not to quote, but the truth is out there. I don't support the idea, to answer your question. We can electioneer. The voters, and electioneering laws came about based on groups of people who were afraid to enter polling places because they were being bullied into not voting. And so I don't support any behavior that even looks like electioneering, and this would. And so anybody who's an elected official, we don't endorse, we tell the truth. We give the facts, and then we let the voters vote their conscience in the booth. So I'm really, really strong about that. And, I'm sure that it's going to be disappointing to the police department, but I got to tell you, Chief, you did a good job. The voters know the voters know, and I think they're going to vote in the best way that they see fit, and that's their business to do so. You have run the race, you run a good race. We got to let our facts stand. And if voters want to be swayed by groupthinks that aren't bound by truth or facts, then that's their decision. They are free to vote however they want to. So my answer is no electioneering.
Well, the other thing is too, is,
Thank you.
going on to that, do we want to be back in the Channel 9 or in the Union Leader? We had a case of electioneering in this town a few years ago.
Yep. 3 chiefs ago?
Involving the police department. We don't want to go down that road. We don't want to be back in the news for something like that. And like she said, my opinion is that, like the moderator said, that, you've had your shot, you did your job. It's up to the voters now. And I mean,
Yeah.
you can't.
The police department's been very transparent, and they're putting a lot of
Yep.
stuff on their website. They've put stuff on Facebook, so the information's definitely out there.
Absolutely,
So I
which
think-
goes to exactly what we've all done. We've
Yep.
all put our stuff out, and we've put it out there on, anytime you've asked. I mean, Beth, we've all spent countless hours to get you whatever you want.
Yep. That's it.
Short of staying extra, and Beth would get printouts for anybody that asked, even during finance. We've run it to the end.
Yep.
We've been as open and honest and transparent with things. I think everybody has the same, you can sit back and snicker, and you can just kind of point people to the facts. That's about all you can do.
On that note,
But I
I'd
think
also-
we've run a great race.
I'd also like to thank the Finance Committee for
Yes.
their very long hours and the amount of time and sacrifice they had going through all this and formulating their votes and opinions and their
Recommendations.
and their recommendations. Whether the townspeople like it or not, volunteers did a damn good job, and all I ask is the people that watch this tonight, whichever way you vote, just please come out and vote.
Absolutely.
So-
Just attend.
So thank you for that, but is my answer still the right answer to the chief?
I would say no.
I,
I have no problem with that. Again, that was
Well,
my
she answered
Yeah.
it. I
She
just want
answered
to
it,
make
so,
sure.
yeah.
he said
No, that's
nobody.
That was just my interpretation of that one line.
Yeah,
That-
and there's,
that's all
there's
that was.
not one time that there's not going to be somebody there that's not going to get paid because of their collective bargaining.
Right. So I think it's electioneering.
I think and I think that it's, it is.
And
It's one
even
way
if
or the other.
it's too close to the definition.
Yep.
It's just too close.
It's just way too close. Even if it's not verbatim, it's just too close.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, in the final say with any of the elections,
Is the moderator.
it falls on the moderator to run the elections, and she says no, so.
She has spoken.
Yeah.
And she'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, and then
It's
I
everybody.
had one other, which Eileen hit it perfectly, and I'm happy enough to leave it alone, is just the same, the letter to the editor.
We'll just leave
The
it
letter
alone.
to the editor talks about there's more to the story. There absolutely is more to the story, and there's another whole side.
Absolutely.
So
Listen to
when
it.
you think about it, anytime you want some information, we're always here. We're always pleased to provide it.
Just gotta ask.
All you just
Gotta
gotta
ask.
do is ask.
And the thing is, sometimes with these letters, they're the same people are the ones that get the information. Mm-hmm. They have no problem in getting it.
Yeah.
Whatever they want,
Right.
And then, so
at no charge.
my last closing comment, and then, last meeting, we had a public, which happens to us all the time, and my apology, and I'll get better at doing it, is we had someone question the truck. The truck is still being out there and flapped,
Yeah,
the town truck that we purchased.
yeah.
I think you recall the question that was asked was it the best price?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think we need to answer that with the fact that, is the board doing away with the 3 bids? But no, you have the opportunity to waive it. But I don't know where anybody's gonna find a better deal.
No.
I mean,
Oh.
there was absolutely, you asked me to pick up the phone to Banks. I'm just gonna be preface here, because I've been accused of a lot of things here, but you asked me to pick up the phone. I picked up the phone, spoke to the gentleman that I've had dealings with, who is a taxpayer in Ware, told him what I was looking at, because we were looking at used, something that was 3 years old. Gave him the whole day to look at it, because they have 175 trucks in their inventory, and I didn't look that long.
All right.
Told him what I really wanted, kind of what I was looking for, and what I had money for. And I set him on his way. He came back to me in the afternoon and said he was going to try to talk me into a full-time one. And that was only for the fact that I was like, we don't have that much money, because I know what a new one comes, a new truck. So he said, hear me out, which I did, and I sent you guys everything. He also, as a taxpayer, did his due diligence and called General Motors. And took the time to call General Motors. And we got a brand-new one for, as the sticker price said, $42,000, but with the government bid assist from General Motors directly for municipality, they took off $9,200. We also don't want it rusting around our ears, so we asked about a warranty. I asked a few more questions, thanks to Mr. Van, and the dealership was able to provide us with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty for $3,600. I mean, I just don't know how much better price anybody else could do.
It may not be the cheapest out there, but it's the best for the dollars we
Well,
had.
yeah, and
Not only that, but it was
We
available.
could have bought some
That was the
used
bigger thing.
well, that was it. You looked at the list we had, and you could say bids or whatever you want to look, or quotes. We had quotes from, what, 4, 5 different sources,
4 or
and-
5-year-old vehicles.
and they were anywhere from 2 to 4-year-old, 5-year-old vehicles. That were, some of them were
Way more.
2-year-old, 3-year-old vehicles that were almost the same money as what we bought.
not
new.
more.
With
Some
And
of
some
them
if not more. So I think that, say that we did our due diligence and we waived it, and the other problem was if we got a new one, was delivery. You could buy the used one, get a 30-day warranty or a 60-day warranty,
Right.
and then have it fall apart. We're right behind the 8 ball again. We just wasted that money.
Or
The
if,
lots are empty.
if we went with
The
the
lots are
state
empty.
bid, then we would have been waiting 6 to 12 months to get a truck.
Which we couldn't afford.
Unless they
with
had a
that vehicle.
leftover in some lot, which is in the state bid, some of them have leftovers on the lot, like I said, Irwin was one of the ones that always had leftovers. Hillsborough Ford at the time when they had bids had some leftover
We
trucks
got-
and cars.
We got the best value.
Get the best bang for the buck.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've heard it, I know others of you have heard it, they're still grumbling about,
There's always going to be grumbling
There's
about
always gonna be
decisions
grumbling.
that are made at this table.
Yeah.
Yep.
and it's just,
mean-
I picked up the phone and it happens to be the gentleman that I deal with. And there's no disclosure, there was no,
Why, I mean,
I'm fully disclosing it because a comment was made about you pat my back, I pat yours to me. And that's not at all how anything works.
No.
Just because I know him, I called him, he's a taxpayer.
Right. In town.
Anybody up there could have been living in another town and wouldn't have gone the extra mile for the
Right.
GM
Right.
assist.
But he did.
So,
No, you did a good job.
No, I think it all fell together. And again, we are in unprecedented times right now, and the availability is 0. So I think with everything included, as far as the deals
Yeah,
that we
you
got and
either-
everything, we did a hell of a job.
either take what's on the lot or you gotta wait. That's what it
yeah,
was.
well, hopefully that's where it stops. I
Yep.
think we've had enough discussion on it,
It's
but
too late now. It's,
Yeah,
it's like
signed,
trying to
sealed, delivered.
close the door to the horses out of the barn, and it's.
So that's the
we've
last
done it
thing,
and
but-
bought it, so.
we have a long day tomorrow.
Don't forget, to remember to vote often.
Yeah, vote early, vote often, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'll be there.
And, what?
one last time,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah.